Just want to say congrats to the winners. Another year of the NFL playoffs and another flawless start. We had the Texans, who were underdogs today, and the Ravens to cover the spread. Both things came through. And again, you learn this gematria thing. You see how not only is the news rigged, the elections are rigged, the crypto market's rigged, the market's rigged. You see how the sports games are rigged. And in the case of the Texans game, there's a very powerful number with the Texans. It equals 20 in gematria. The Chargers got their 20th loss in the postseason all time. And in history, the Dallas Texans became the Kansas City Chiefs the year JFK was shot. Kansas City equals 67. The Texans improved to 6-7 in the postseason, and they do have a chance to play Kansas City in the next round. As for the Ravens, my favorite number in the wild card, comes up a number of times each year in the wild card, is 38. Wild card equals 38. Tonight, Lamar Jackson, the star quarterback of the Ravens, got his 38th home win. It was the 38th meeting of Mike Tomlin, the coach of the Steelers, and John Harbaugh, the coach of the Ravens. Again, that's evidence of the script, the fact that those guys would meet for their 38th time in the wild card when that's the recurring number year after year, as we've taught about for over a decade. That's the thing. Every year I'm here teaching the exact same lessons over and over, same patterns over and over every year. But if you watched the game, you saw that they said the Ravens had a record amount of yardage and a half against the Steelers all time. The record was 308 yards, 308. And I don't want to get into the point differential and why we thought they would cover, but it had to do with a number of things. So to get any value with the Ravens, they had to cover the spread tonight, and they got that done. The only thing we were left hanging on is I thought the Ravens were going to win with 31 points tonight. That was an exact bet where you can turn $1 into $100 by parlaying it with the other two things you like. And it looked like they were going to do it, but then they just didn't kick the field goal, which was... It was sad. We could have turned $1 into $100, but the thought with the Ravens scoring exactly 31 tonight had it happened. Steelers equals 31. Pittsburgh Steelers equals 81. Had the Ravens scored 31 tonight, they would have had 81 points against the Steelers for the entire season. And 31 is also the 11th prime on the 11th. You know, Houston, who also won, Houston is the 31 city. And Houston, when you run it forwards, equals 31. When you run it in reverse, equals 32. As you can see, they won with 32 points tonight. And by the way, here's another one. Opening day of the playoffs, only 2 games. And in those respective games, you had 2 brothers coaching. Jim Harbaugh of the Chargers lost tonight. John Harbaugh of the Ravens won. This year, the Super Bowl's in New Orleans. The last time it was in New Orleans, it was the Harbaugh Bowl, where John beat Jim. John equals 47. John won Super Bowl 47. You might call the Ravens scored 34 points on the 34th day of the year. Maryland equals 34 when you run it forwards, 47 when you run it in reverse. But, you know, John benefited and Jim didn't. And the opening round of the playoffs this year, which ends in New Orleans, John benefited and Jim didn't. But here's what's wild. This is the 105th NFL season. Brothers equates to 105, and when you run it in reverse, brothers equals 111. Today is 111. So think about that. Just think about it. The brother coaches open the playoffs. One wins, the other loses on 111 to start the playoffs of the 105th season. I mean, again, you guys, you learn this gematria thing. Again, you just really see through all of it. And sadly, you see how they even script the sports into the news. Like what we were talking about with the Flames being in L.A. just in time for the city to burn up, and how they got to move the L.A. football game on Monday night from L.A. to State Farm Stadium after State Farm canceled a lot of people's insurance, and now they're without a house and any way to replace it. And Andy Reid, Big Red from L.A., doing those State Farm ads with Mahomes and everything I talked about earlier. But anyway, congrats to the winners. It's good to be 2-0. If you're not on the Patreon, think about signing up. Again, we don't teach people to be gambling junkies and addicts. We teach people how to, play small and win big. My common line is keep your gambling limit to $5 a day. Learn how to turn $5 into $100. And stop wasting your money on stupid stuff like junk food you don't need and coffees you don't need and Starbucks you don't need. Make your own coffee at home for 5 cents rather than $5 at Starbucks, and learn how to turn the $5 into 100 plus. But yeah, we'll leave it there for now, True Seeker. And until next time.